IV and the Strange Banjo Tour concert experience. On September 4th, 2021, Hank Williams IV and his Strange Banjo Tour came to Ground Zero in Spartanburg, South Carolina. This was a wild and unique show, so stick around for the entire concert experience. At the end of the video, I'll also reveal what type of music Hank Williams IV is playing. Country show, rock show, or something else altogether. I'm also showing footage and photos from front row center. So let's go!
We got this lovely traffic report here for you.
Starting out, I'm stressing on my way to the venue. I didn't order tickets online like I should have, and the website says that tickets will
sell out.
So on my way there, I'm trying to think of ways that I could get in even if the show is sold out. Hey, I'm a famous YouTuber.
Please let me in! Please! Please!
But as I pull up to Ground Zero in Spartanburg, there's like 3 cars there. I pay the $20 to get in and then begins. In the comments section, let me know a time that you got to a concert either way too early or way too late.
The early bird. The bird is a word. The bird is a word.
So I'm there super early. I quickly get a table right at the front of the stage, and the IV merch table is directly to my right. I'm eyeballing the t-shirts, the stickers, and posters, and suddenly this 7-foot-tall gentleman is right there, eating some pizza and bringing bottles of water to his merch guy. Now, at this point, I'm the only person in there that isn't an employee of Ground Zero, save for maybe a barfly or two. Although I typically don't get nervous around celebrities, this was a little bit awkward and I was getting a little bit anxious. Oh, I forgot to tell you, my first taste of live music in ages and eons since the world went wonky. Opening band Bluntsworth or Bloodworth or Blickworth doing a sound check for what would be their first live performance ever.
Tested 1, 2, 3. Can anybody?
So there are 2 screens on each side of the stage playing deep cuts from Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, which transitions into a montage of Killing Joke songs, leading me to wonder exactly what kind of music I'm in for. I've went into this thing blind. I don't know what kind of music Hank IV is playing. I've heard Son of Sin, and that's it! Bluntsworth, the guys that were sound checking.
Does this sound okay?
Bluntsworth were setting up their stage. The first thing that I noticed was the lack of drums. No drums, and there were no drums for the entire night. I hear from JD Pinkus after the show, talking to him, not knowing who he is. Cannot believe that. Butthole Surfer. Bluntsworth proceed to put on an amazing show with 2 guitars and a banjo. I'm not sure how many times I've heard a banjo live in concert, but I'll go ahead and tell you this about the sound of this performance. These banjos are distorted, amplified, and are shredded through pedal boards that are so massive it would intimidate the biggest guitar gods. I don't want to spoil the show for anyone, but I'm going to go ahead and show you just a little taste of what these guys are about. Let's roll that Bloodsworth or Bluntsworth footage before we move on to JD Pinkus and, of course, the headline of the show, Hank Williams IV and his Strange Banjo. Less than like I mentioned earlier, I'm freaking out. Because I talked to JD Pinkus after the show, told him it was great, and I looked him up when I got home. He was the freaking bass player from Butthole Surfers. Also, he's been in a whole host of other bands.
Oh yeah, Pinky!
So now I'm like listening to the Melvins nonstop, along with Butthole Surfers, all this other great music. This is what it's all about, musical discovery. Now, former Butthole Surfer JD Pinkus is certainly bringing the namesake of the tour to the table here. He's a unique individual.
His set list starts off with him setting up all these elaborate light shows and all these pedals that he's working the visuals and the audios with. He's got this this echo.
This trippy, distorted vocal about leaving your mind behind and hitting your paraphernalia. JD Pinkus kicks things off with demonic voices and lyrical content that will leave you chuckling uncomfortably to yourself and sometimes scratching your head. I knew it was going to be a good show when he took off his shoes on stage and placed them in a very specific spot on the said stage. He performs totally solo, and you'll see. Roll that Pinkus footage. You guys got that Pinkus footage? You do? What'd you do with it? The build-up to Hank Williams IV and Daniel Mason is a montage of music from Native Howl, a bluegrass band with a metal edge, still leaving me in the lurch as to what to expect. I'm more curious than ever as to what's going to happen. Another build-up song is a polka hillbilly version of a Pantera track. And now I'm more confused than ever. Now we've almost got Coleman on stage, guys, so stick around. We do eventually end this montage of other music. It's still heavy acts, but more mainstream, like Heart, White Zombie, and Be It the Means. Okay, guys, so now we have Coleman Williams on the stage. Coleman explains that he usually has a full band, but for this tour and this performance, it's him and Daniel Mason performing original covers that impacted his life in a meaningful way. Of course, we've got Hank Williams IV on vocals and acoustic guitar. We've got Daniel Mason on banjo. There's a beautiful mix of these two sides, again, being amplified in my brain with the amplified banjo and acoustic guitar. I am the closest person to the stage, and at one point I get shifted farther to the right of the stage, and I've got an amplifier right here, and I have a little bit of an anxiety attack about that because I'm trying to keep my head from going. If you're following Hank IV on his YouTube channel, you're going to get most of those songs that we've heard, the covers, as well as some of the originals, including Son of Sin. Someone yelled out early in the show that they wanted Son of Sin, and Coleman quickly pointed out that one is for last.
Hello, Governor.
but more on that later.
Hello, Governor.
The country and western covers that IV plays, he plays with more conviction than the actual original artist, making for one tearjerker of a night, at least for me. Even with the stripped down stoner banjo mix, his original tunes are fully baked ideas, and I can't wait to hear them fully fleshed out on a studio record, hopefully coming in the next year.
Hello.
If any of you guys out there in the YouTube land can get me a set list from this show, I would greatly appreciate it. I couldn't get one at the show, so if you could do that, just do that. Leave it in the comments, guys. Being able to sing at a show is important. It's important to me. I think it's important to you. It's a highlight, and when everybody, or at least you, can sing along with the artist. That's always a really great experience. And let's talk about one of those highlights of the night. Before the song began, we get a little bit of an introduction from Coleman. He's a really polite guy. You could just get good guy vibes from him. But he says that he loves punk rock. He got that from his father, Hank III, and that there's no bigger Misfits fan than his father, Hank III. I'm a pretty big Misfits fan too.
Who else can say they've ever boxed Hank Williams about the Misfits?
Hank. All this talk about punk rock's getting me excited. This is getting my little Green Day nerd self so excited, my tears are starting to water up. For the 100th time in the night, the song starts, and while the rest of the crowd is either unfamiliar or doesn't want to sing along for whatever reason, Bluntsworth are to my right. We're all in that corner of the stage at this point, and I am singing aloud and proud along with Hank Williams IV. Unbelievable night. The song is by the Misfits, but stripped down, slow, and on a banjo. I actually have a video of that if you guys want to check out that. I've got a whole separate video just focused on that Hybrid Moments cover. Finally, we get Hank Williams playing his one and only official single, Son of Sin, which he told that guy that it was going to be the last song of the night. But he's a liar, folks. We've got more songs after this. We've got at least 3 more songs after this. Now, I will say there was not an encore, but you do sort of get kind of the same effect.
Hello, Governor.
We get one more grandiose song from Hank Williams IV and his partner Daniel Wilson before Hank Williams gives the stage over to his right or left-hand man. I'm not sure which one. He gives this little introduction to what's going to happen after Hank, leaves the stage. What does Hank IV tells us that we're about to find out why it's called the Strange Banjo Tour. And boy are we. Hank leaves the stage, leaving Daniel Mason front row and center, directly in my path. Throughout the night, 3-4 hours of amazing music. We've heard banjos being twisted into stoner rock, blue jazz, punk, and yet Daniel Mason is able to finish the night out with 2 epic performances of banjo soloing, the likes of which I don't think anybody on this planet has ever heard.
Whoa. What is this?
All 3 bands on this build have an interesting cross-section of genres, and that's what we're going to discuss here right now. On the obvious sonic attack that's going into your eardrums, it's one could call it bluegrass and country, sure, but it's got an element of stoner rock coming through despite the sparse banjo and guitar instrumentals. It's amazing what sounds we're getting from these ginormous banjo pedal boards. It's something that me as a music nerd, I've never seen or heard anything like it. The dialogue between songs and even in some of the lyrics are maybe a little too R-rated for maybe some older traditional country fans, where it's got an emphasis of sex, drugs, and sadness. There's a lot of blues coming through in this stuff as well, is what I'm saying. And it's I guess you could kind of lump it in with outlaw country, although I want to say that this is just something else entirely. A little bit more liberal, if you will. IV for Hank Williams IV is definitely crafting something unique here, and it's I'm glad to be at the early stage of this, and it's something that I'll definitely be following and revisiting very often. Let's say we got to give this a label, right? We got to give this genre a label. Nobody else out there is doing this, so I'm going to do it here for you tonight. What is Hank Williams IV? If he can be defined, I would say stoner metal punk bluegrass. Steedalunkass. There you go. Steedalunkass. And what is Steedalunkass? Again, it is stoner elements mixed with heavy metal and punk attitudes and ideals, but delivered through a pretty traditional bluegrass and country context. That's what it is.
No more in darkness, no more.
Conclusion here is that I picked one heck of a show for my return to seeing live music. I could not have picked a better show. The music was fantastic and unique. The crowd could have been a little bit more enthusiastic, but I'll chalk that up to us all being really bummed about the apocalypse. Now, I know that I'm pretty bummed about the end of the world, but I was still out there pretty much doing everything but shaking my groove thing. I gotta say, when towards the end of the show, I think it was Daniel Mason that wanted us, he requested that we all start dancing, like a square dance or something. And I gotta tell you, the 30 people in attendance, yeah, I was the most enthusiastic, I feel like. And yeah, I could not, I couldn't shake my groove thing. I'm sorry, Daniel Mason.
Let's hear it for this dude!
Maybe next time. Probably not. I'm probably still going to be too embarrassed to do that. You got to dance like nobody's watching. But that's easier said than done. I would have, but I got anxiety. I would have. That mosh pit, though. Square dancing, mosh pit. Yeah, it's this band has some potential for some real weird insanity in the future.
Bluntsworth, JD Pinkus, and IV.
Give this concert a little ranking, a rating here real quick. That's what we do here on the channel. Bluntsworth, first performance ever. You guys rocked your ties off. JD Pinkus, wow, I can't believe I talked to you and had no idea who you were. Pepper, right? Pepper. IV, IV and the Strange Banjo, not the band. I'm giving this concert a solid 10 out of 10. Could not have been better. If this wild stoner metal punk rock bluegrass freak show comes to your town, I highly suggest that you go to it. Even if it's the next town over, that's kind of what I did. Wasn't really my town. It was, a couple towns north of here. And like Ground Zero said, this will sell out. So to you, Coleman, Hank, whatever you want to be called, you very, very likely gained some new fans along the way on this Strange Banjo Tour. I know for a fact that you made one. Thank you.